In this video, I just want to quickly talk about what an alternate assessment is. There are going to be points during the course where you might find yourself either really busy with another course or with a personal thing, and you may end up missing one of the test periods. Or you may write a test and realize that your mark isn't as good as you wished it had been, and that you could devote a little bit more time to the topic and then try it again. So alternative assessment is basically a retest that allows you to do just that. Um, as far as what they look like, some students ask if they're harder or easier. They're definitely not easier, and I won't say that they're harder per se. However, I do tend to use more stereotypical examples of questions for the original tests, and since the alternative assessment tests are going to be different, they may dig a little deeper. So you should be okay as long as you treat the alternative assessment like a fresh test. Students who tend to just look back at their original test and say, okay, I'm just going to study these 8 or 10 questions that were on the original test and how to do those, and then hopefully that'll be good, may find that that doesn't exactly cut it on the retest. Can anyone access them? And the answer is yes. Everyone gets to a reshot, or they can do the retest or the alternative assessment if they'd like to, and they can do it on each and every one of the 8 overall assessments, the 8 unit tests, and the little assignment at the end if you really, really want to. Although most people tend to be fine on that one. The only requirement is that you have to show me that you've completed the homework for the unit. So I understand that not everyone does every homework question. Some people skip over them quickly. But at the same time, if you're saying that you need a second shot at it, that you need to do better the second time through than you did the first time, you should be attempting every question. Clearly, not doing every question didn't exactly cut it for you on the original test, so I want to see that you've actually put in the effort to improve your skills before writing it again. That's about it, though. Show me that you've completed the work for the unit, and you get access to the test. Now, much like the original test, these are going to be time limited and put into timed blocks. So you can't just write them whenever. And the reason for that, much like the original test, is that I want to be able to give feedback in somewhat of a timely manner on how you've done on these assessments. And because of that, I can't let somebody write it during, the third week and then someone else write the same test during the seventh or eighth week or the 15th week. So there will be times to write them. The first few of them are going to be closer to midterm, and then the last units will be closer to the final exam. Uh, the exact dates for everything will be right below this one, or there'll be a link to a document below that gives all the dates. And basically what will happen is you're going to have to hand in the homework by a specific date, and that will gain you access by a specific date, and then they must be completed by a specific date, in much the same way the tests are. How will they affect your final marks? The official policy that I will give is that your mark for any individual unit will be the average of your original test and your alternative assessment test. So if you get a 50 and a 90, then your mark that will be entered for that unit will be a 70. That said, I usually weigh the second one higher, but I don't want to make any promises about exactly how weighting goes because, again, as I think I mentioned in one of the other videos, the exact way that we calculate marks now isn't just a straight up average. So if you want a rough idea of how you would do, consider an average of the two. And if anything, it's probably going to end up in your favor where the higher mark counts for more. Now that said, and this is something that does make some people kind of rethink their doing of these, is that I will take the average of them even if your mark does go down. So it is possible during an alternative assessment for your mark to go down. I'm not doing that to be cruel. I'm doing that to actually motivate you to put the effort in to do well. And you should. The idea behind it is if I give you a test and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll like, I won't do the homework, but I'll kind of watch the lessons quickly, and you don't do very well on it, then I don't want you to say, no, I don't really feel like doing the homework still, but I'm just going to take another shot at it and see what happens. The entire point of the alternative assessments is that you have chosen to do extra work to better your skills so that you could demonstrate a better quality product. And if you're not going for the effort of doing that, there's really no point. And I don't want people just taking a second shot at it and then realizing, I get a 10% on the second one, who cares? Show me that you put in the work and your mark should go up. And if it doesn't, it probably means that you didn't actually do anything to get better at the topic before writing the AA, which is going against the purpose of it. So I think that's it about AAs. If you do have additional questions about them, please make sure to email me. Otherwise, move on to the next video.